After 8 years of dating Alex and 4 years of working together, I suddenly quit my job and broke up with him. The reason was simple. When I asked for a day off because of a stomachache, he chewed me out impatiently. And when I was clutching my cramping stomach and asked if we could eat first, he yelled at me, "If you don't want to work, then just quit." In that moment, I thought, there's no dignity in being a corporate drone, and there's no dignity in being Alex's boyfriend either. So I decided I was done being both. "Alex, I have a doctor's appointment for a checkup today. I need to take a half day off." The early morning sun struggled to pierce through the thick curtains, casting a few harsh stripes of light on the floor. I got up and gently nudged Alex, who was lying next to me. "Asking for time off again? All you think about is slacking off, always finding some excuse to skip work." Alex was scrolling through his phone. He looked up, his eyes devoid of any warmth, his voice dripping with annoyance. My heart sank. I rushed to explain, "It's not an excuse this time, really. I haven't been feeling well for a while, and I had to wait forever to get this appointment." Alex went back to his phone and muttered coldly, "Fine, just half a day." "Okay, great, thanks." I felt a small sense of relief. My stomach had been bothering me for a couple of weeks. I tried asking Alex for time off before, but he never approved it. Today, he finally caved. At the breakfast table, Alex ate slowly, then looked up at me as I was getting ready to leave. "You're not going to eat something before you go?" "No, I need an empty stomach for the tests." "Right." Alex grunted and went back to his breakfast. Half an hour later, I drove myself to the hospital. I had an appointment, so I only had to wait about 20 minutes before it was my turn. The doctor asked me a few questions and then ordered some basic tests. But just as I was getting in line for the tests, my phone rang. It was Alex's secretary, Lee. "Hey, Lee, what's up?" "Leo, you need to get back to the office right now. There's a huge problem with the documents your department submitted. Alex is furious and wants you back here immediately to handle it." Lee's voice was rushed and tense. My stomach dropped. Clutching my Q ticket, I said, "I'm at the hospital. It's finally my turn. Can it wait until I'm done with my checkup?" "No, Alex said you have to come back this instant, or you'll face the consequences." Lee cut me off and hung up. Panicked, I quickly called Alex. The line just beeped over and over. He wouldn't pick up. I stood in the hospital corridor, the surrounding noise fading into a dull roar. I was filled with a sense of helplessness and frustration. Finally, I clenched my jaw, turned around, and rushed back to the company. When I ran, out of breath, into the office and pushed open the conference room door, I found Alex laughing and chatting with a group of people. But the moment he saw me, the smile vanished from his face. Like a switch had been flipped, he suddenly grabbed a stack of papers and threw them at me. "There's a problem with this report. You're the department head. Don't you know how to review things?" I took the documents and glanced at them. It was a report I had assigned. But since it was a simple one, I had asked the deputy head, Mark, to review it. I looked up at Mark. He had been smiling just a moment ago, but now he was staring at the floor, avoiding my eyes. I sighed. "I'll have someone fix it right away. When my subordinates made a mistake, I usually took the fall. I want you to fix it personally." Alex was furious. I nodded. "Okay, got it. This is urgent. Get it done now." Alex's voice boomed again. "Okay." I pulled the door open and walked out, my stomach churning. I hadn't eaten anything since morning, and the frantic rush back to the office was taking its toll. Fighting back the nausea, I went to my desk and started working on the report. Around noon, clutching my cramping stomach, I brought the revised report to Alex. Without a word, Alex took it, then tossed a new file at me. "This one has problems too. Fix it now." I clutched my stomach and asked quietly, "Can I get lunch first? I've been fasting since this morning for my checkup." Alex frowned, his gaze as cold as ice. "The report has this many issues and you have the nerve to think about food? If you don't have it on my desk by 2 p.m., you can just quit." His words stabbed me like a knife. In that instant, a wave of hurt, anger, and exhaustion washed over me. I took a deep breath and thought, there's no dignity in being a corporate drone, and there's no dignity in being Alex's boyfriend either. So I decided I was done being both. I looked up, met his eyes, and said word by word, "Fine. Quit." After saying it, I suddenly felt a huge weight lift off my chest. Alex frowned but quickly regained his composure. "Fine. Go write your resignation letter. I'll approve it immediately." "Okay." I nodded, turned around, and went to my desk to type up my resignation. My fingers moved mechanically across the keyboard. The past flashed before my eyes like a movie montage. Alex was my senior in college, my lover, and my boss. We had known each other for 8 years and been together for 7. During my first year of grad school, the university hosted an industry networking event, and I was one of the student representatives. Alex was invited as a special guest, an outstanding alumnus, to share his experience. He was wearing a simple white shirt and dark trousers, standing tall, looking composed and calm. Every move he made radiated a mature charm that instantly caught my eye. After the event, I was assigned to see him off. On the way, he suddenly asked about my future plans. I poured out all my thoughts, from academic goals to dream jobs, holding nothing back. Alex listened intently, occasionally offering professional advice. His insights were unique and profound, which made me like him even more. As we said goodbye, he smiled and said, "You're full of ideas and energy. I really enjoyed our chat. Would you mind if I got your number?" "Thank you for the compliment," I said, my face turning red as I gave him my contact info. To my surprise, he actually asked me out a few days later. At first, we just talked about our professional field, but soon we were talking about our personal lives. He even took me to play basketball a few times. From then on, we saw more and more of each other. Alex was 3 years older than me. His rich experience and mature way of handling things always helped guide me when I was lost. I loved spending time with him, listening to his funny stories from work and his thoughts on life. And it seemed my sunny disposition and energy were infectious. Alex once said that being with me made him feel like he was back in his own passionate, youthful days. Then one time we went to watch the sunrise together. As we stood on the mountaintop waiting for the dawn to break, Alex suddenly took my hand. I looked at him, stunned, and heard him say, "I can tell you're gay too, right? I like you, Leo. Do you like me?" In that moment, my heart pounded like a drum. The wind howled on the mountain, and the love in my heart grew wild in the wind. After that, we made it official. Alex's parents had divorced long ago, and he lived with his dad. After his dad remarried and had another child, Alex had been living on his own. As for me, I was an only child, but my parents adored me. They knew about my sexuality and respected my choices. After I graduated, I smoothly brought Alex home to meet my family. We later signed a partnership agreement and moved in together. Back then, I was filled with joy, thinking we would be happy like this forever, until Alex brought me into his company. Before he even graduated, Alex had started a law firm with his classmates. Later, through his own talent, he became one of the firm's 3 major partners. The year I graduated, I didn't actually want to go into law. In college, I had fallen in love with photography. My biggest dream was to open my own photo studio. But after I started dating Alex, both my family and he persuaded me to join his firm. Alex said he couldn't handle the workload at the firm alone and asked me to come help him, and so I agreed. At the company, he never told anyone about our relationship. At first, everything at work went smoothly, and Alex was very understanding. If there was something I didn't know, he would patiently teach me at home. But as time went on, everything changed. Alex started to think I wasn't competent enough. He wouldn't assign me any help, claiming it was to train me. Doing the work of 3 people, I constantly felt overwhelmed. Countless nights, I stayed late in the office by myself, staring at mountains of files, my eyes sore and my fingers numb, just to meet Alex's standards. But no matter how hard I worked, Alex was never satisfied. He was always nitpicking my work, blowing up the tiniest flaw. The office sycophants, noticing Alex's attitude towards me, started to step on me to climb up. My situation at the company became increasingly difficult. Not only was the workload crushing, but I was also frequently targeted and isolated by my colleagues. One year at the company retreat, Alex, as one of the three main partners, was naturally the center of attention. But that day, I was in a bad mood after being ostracized. I told him about it in private, but he was completely indifferent and said I was overthinking things. Later, he even berated me in front of everyone. "Leo, why are you always so antisocial? It's a company retreat, and you're just hiding in a corner not talking to anyone. People who don't know better would think we're all bullying you. If you don't want to work here, then just leave." That was the first time he'd used such a harsh tone to tell me to leave the company. But I endured it back then. But later, every time I was wronged and complained to Alex, all I got was that cold, dismissive reply: "Work harder, get along with your colleagues, and stop coming to me with your problems." But now I was done enduring. I took a deep breath, clutching the resignation letter in my hand, the paper wrinkling from my tight grip. Every step towards Alex's office felt like saying goodbye to a painful past. Pushing open the familiar yet repulsive door, I saw Alex sitting at his desk. When he saw me, a sarcastic smirk appeared on his face. "Changed your mind? Decided not to quit?" "No, I'm quitting. Sign it." Alex froze for a second, his expression turning annoyed and cold. "Fine. Just don't regret it." As he spoke, he snatched the letter from my hand. He signed his name with a heavy stroke, the pen tip tearing through the paper as if to vent his frustration. After signing, he threw the document back at me and warned coldly, "Make sure you hand over your work properly. If you screw it up, you can forget about your year-end bonus." I bit my lower lip hard, tasting a hint of metal, and fought back the tears that were about to fall. Without a word, I walked out. Back at my desk, I started the handover process. I spent the whole afternoon making sure everything was in order. With more than an hour left before the end of the day, I opened my desk drawer and began taking out my personal belongings one by one. My colleagues' gazes occasionally drifted my way, some surprised, some curious, some indifferent, but I no longer cared. I put my photos, my small plant, and my trinkets into a cardboard box, my movements swift and decisive. After packing, I took one last look at this place that had caused me so much misery, then turned and left. Stepping out of the office building, the sunlight was a bit blinding. I shielded my eyes with my hand and took a deep breath of the free air outside. I once thought I could find my purpose here, that I could walk side by side with Alex. But reality had slapped me hard. I walked straight to the curb and hailed a cab. Sitting in the car, watching the familiar streets fly by, my mood gradually calmed. When I got home, I set the box aside and walked into the bedroom, opening the closet. Looking at the professional attire I had bought for work, I took them down one by one and threw them on the bed. These clothes had witnessed my humiliation at the company. Now it was time to say goodbye to them for good. Next, I started packing my other things. My clothes, my toiletries, I stuffed everything into a large bag. I was done with the company and I was done with this home. After finishing, I collapsed onto the sofa. Looking at the mess all over the room, I felt an unprecedented sense of relief. But just as I sat down, Alex called. I answered, and his entitled voice came through the receiver. "I want sweet and sour pork ribs for dinner tonight. Make it ahead of time." I was stunned for a moment, then a sense of absurdity washed over me. I replied coldly, "If you want to eat it so bad, make it yourself. Are you really throwing a fit over a little criticism? You sound like you swallowed a firecracker." Alex's voice was full of surprise and displeasure. A curse word got stuck in my throat. My hands were shaking with anger. "Go to hell, Alex. I'm breaking up with you." The other end of the line went silent for a moment. Then came Alex's scoffing laugh. "Are you just trying to get me to baby you? Are you that childish?" He seemed to think this was just another one of our usual little spats. Before I could even speak, he added coldly, "If you're looking for someone to play childish games with, you've got the wrong guy. A breakup? Fine by me. I agree. Good. Then that's that." My voice trembled slightly. The moment I hung up the phone, the tears finally broke free. I thought there would be more arguments, more pleas to stay. But it all ended just like that. All the sweet memories and promises of the past now seemed like a ridiculous joke. I sat on the sofa, covering my face, letting the tears flow freely as images of my time with Alex flashed through my mind. From the initial spark and passionate love, to all the conflicts at work and at home, every single memory was like a knife, carving another wound into my heart. As the sky darkened and the city lights began to glow, I stood up. I grabbed everything that was mine and walked out. My parents and I live in different cities, though not too far apart, but showing up late at night with all my luggage didn't feel right. So, I looked up a hotel and started driving there. On the way, I got a call from my college roommate, Ryan. I'd almost forgotten that I had made plans to have dinner with him tonight. When I answered, Ryan chewed me out for a couple of minutes. I quickly apologized. "I'm so sorry, Ryan. I had so much going on today, it completely slipped my mind." Under Ryan's questioning, I told him everything about quitting my job and the breakup. Before I could even finish, Ryan yelled into the phone, "Where are you now?" "I don't know, I was just going to find a hotel for the night." "Don't go anywhere. Come to my place. I'll wait for you here. We need to talk." "Oh, well, okay." After a moment's hesitation, I agreed and turned the car around to head to Ryan's. When I got there, Ryan was already waiting downstairs. Seeing me with my suitcase, he immediately came over, took it from me, and patted me on the shoulder. "It's okay, man. It's all in the past. I'm here for you." We talked for a long time that night. Ryan asked me, "So what's your plan now that you and Alex are done?" "Well, I guess I'll finally open that photo studio." Just mentioning the photo studio rekindled that fire in my heart, the dream I had cherished for so long. It was a dream I had put on hold because of Alex and my job. Ryan slapped his thigh excitedly. "Yes, that's perfect. My company's in media. I can hook you up with clients and resources." That guy, Ryan, he really knew how to cheer someone up. I laughed. "Hold on, don't get ahead of yourself. I'm planning to go abroad to study for a bit first. I've been following a few international photography groups online. They have regular training programs, and I'm thinking of signing up." "Awesome. I fully support you." That night, Ryan and I had a great talk. I didn't go to the guest room until I was overcome with sleepiness. Right before I drifted off, Alex actually called. He just asked me coldly, "Where are you? Are you coming back tonight?" "None of your business." And no. And that was the end of our call. The next day, I went back to the hospital to finish my tests. After leaving the hospital, I drove to my parents' place and told them that Alex and I had broken up. My parents are getting older, but they're not blind. They had seen the changes in my relationship with Alex over the years. So when I told them we'd split, they didn't say much. They just told me that life is long, and I should find someone who would actually care for me. After that, I threw myself into preparing to go abroad. But Alex was like a ghost I couldn't shake, contacting me from time to time. He always claimed I hadn't handled my work transition properly. On the 5th day after I got back home, while I was having dinner with my parents, Alex called again. He started laying into me the moment I answered. "Leo, your handover was a complete mess. Do you have any idea how much trouble you've caused the firm?" Alex's furious voice burst through the phone. I just found it laughable, and the long-suppressed emotions inside me ignited. "Alex, I handed everything over clearly. Stop trying to cause trouble." "'Cause trouble? You should see the state you left things in. Nothing was explained properly. Is this how you do a handover?" Alex wouldn't back down, his voice getting louder. I was so angry I was about to start a screaming match, but my dad stopped me. "If the work wasn't handed over properly, then just go back and do it again." Hearing my dad's voice, Alex's tone softened. He asked me, "Are you at your parents' place?" I grunted in affirmation. "Since you think I didn't do a good enough job, I'll come back tomorrow and do it again. I'll come pick you up." "No need. I can get there myself." But that afternoon, Alex showed up at my house. I had told my parents that we would handle our own affairs. So as long as Alex didn't bring up our fight, my parents pretended not to know. After graciously hosting him for dinner, they sent me off with Alex. The only problem was, I had been drinking with my dad at lunch and couldn't drive, so I had no choice but to get in Alex's car. The moment I sat down in his car, I saw cat hair flying everywhere. I froze. Alex seemed to notice something was wrong and offered an explanation. I went to pick up my old friend from school yesterday, and her cat must have rubbed against the seats. Alex's old friend, Linda, was very close to him. She used to have a crush on Alex. But because Alex is gay, they could only be friends. Hearing Alex say this now, my mind couldn't help but flash back to the past. Alex was a neat freak and hated animal fur of any kind. I love cats. One time, I just went to a pet store to play with some kittens for a bit, and when I came back and tried to get in his car, he looked at me with disgust and absolutely refused to let me in. He even made me go home and shower and change my clothes before I could touch him. But now I just found it ridiculous. It turned out it wasn't that what I did was wrong, it was that I, as a person, was wrong. When we got back, I wanted to check into a hotel, but Alex stopped me. Are you really going to abandon your own home just to spite me? He was right. The apartment we lived in, we bought it together. Because of what he said, I went back, but I slept in the guest room. The next day, for the first time ever, I rode to the office with Alex. We always used to drive separately to avoid suspicion. Today was an exception. On the way, Alex kept trying to make small talk, attempting to break the suffocating silence. He even said, "If you're willing to come back, I can forget everything that happened." A wave of disgust washed over me. No thanks. I'm not coming back. Once at the office, I dove into the handover process. The handover was already complete now, it was just a matter of double-checking. But I still went through everything meticulously, just wanting to get it over with and finally leave the past behind. Around noon, I finished my work and went to Alex's office, planning to report in and then leave. But he was leaning back in his chair and said casually, "No rush. Let's get lunch before you go." Hearing this, my long-suppressed emotions finally exploded. The memory of the day I quit flooded my mind, how my stomach was aching, how I begged to go eat, only to be ruthlessly rejected and harshly scolded. My eyes turned red with fury as I glared at him. "Alex, do you remember the day I quit? I was in so much pain from my stomach that I was breaking out in a cold sweat. I begged you to let me get a bite to eat, and you gave me nothing but hell. And now you're telling me there's no rush to eat? Who the hell do you think you are? For years, you've done nothing but criticize me. You put me down at work and ignored me at home. I've had enough. I'm telling you right now, after today, I am never setting foot in this office again." Alex looked at me, stunned by my outburst. After a long moment, he finally said, "I'm sorry. I didn't know your stomach hurt that badly that day. Right, you don't know anything. All you know how to do is berate me and belittle me." After venting, I suddenly felt calm. "Mr. Johnston, I don't feel like eating right now. If you think the handover is complete, I'll be leaving." With that, I turned to leave. "Wait." Alex grabbed my arm. I looked at him calmly. "Is there something else, Mr. Johnston?" Alex frowned. "Leo, I apologize. The firm needs you. Don't go." Hearing him say that was so laughable it hurt. I pried his hand off my arm. "No need, Mr. Johnston. I wouldn't step foot in your company if you paid me. Leo, can you stop being so stubborn? Stubborn my ass. Don't touch me. Get lost." I shook Alex off and walked away without looking back. On my way out, I sent Alex a text. I told him to get in touch when he had time so we could deal with the house. Our shared assets were complicated, but the house was the biggest issue. We could either sell it and split the money, or one of us could buy the other out. I didn't need to spell it out for him. As a top lawyer in his field, Alex knew exactly how to handle these things. After that, I got busy contacting photography clubs abroad, arranging my visa, and planning my studies. I rarely thought about Alex. He called occasionally during that time, but I never answered. I had hired a lawyer and handed over the whole house situation to him. A few days later, my lawyer called, sounding completely exasperated. "Mr. Lee, Mr. Johnston is being extremely difficult. He refuses to sell the property, has made it clear he does not want to separate, and is strongly insisting on meeting with you in person." I thought for a moment, then nodded. "Okay, I understand. I'll arrange to meet with him. If this wasn't resolved, Alex and I would be tangled up forever." The next day, I arranged to meet Alex. I chose a coffee shop we both knew well. Alex was right on time. The moment he walked in, his eyes locked onto me, and he walked over quickly. As he got closer, I could see how exhausted he looked. How have you been? Alex sat down across from me, looking a little awkward. Pretty good. The air grew thick with silence. He cleared his throat. I was wrong before. I shouldn't have talked to you like that. I guess the pressure at work got to me, and I lost control of my emotions. I'm sorry. I forced a smile. You don't have to say all that. We broke up. Let's just talk about the house. Alex's brow furrowed. Stop this. Let's just pretend the breakup never happened. I don't agree to it. I couldn't help but let out a cold laugh, looking straight at him. Alex, have you forgotten? You're the one who agreed to the breakup. Don't you think it's ridiculous to be saying this now? Alex's eyes instantly darkened. I was just angry. Why are you taking it so seriously? Angry? My voice rose. His attitude was fanning the flames of my anger. For all these years, you've done nothing but criticize me at the office and ignore me at home. I put up with it time and time again, and for what? For your accusations and indifference to get worse and worse. I shot up from my seat. I've had enough. It's not up to you whether we break up or not. Alex stood up too. Leo, don't be so childish. I admit I haven't been perfect, but I will not agree to a breakup. Ha! I don't need your agreement to break up with you. I met his gaze, refusing to back down. Alex, I don't want to make this ugly. Make a decision about the house soon so we can go our separate ways peacefully. With that, I turned to leave. But Alex grabbed me, his hands gripping my shoulders tightly. His bloodshot eyes stared at me as if trying to see right through me. I'm telling you, Leo, I do not agree to this breakup. That house is our home. Don't you dare try to destroy our home. I shoved him off me. Alex, stop fooling yourself. This home was destroyed a long time ago. That house doesn't mean anything anymore. Impossible. I won't let our home fall apart. If you just come back, we can start all over again. Alex held on to me, his eyes filled with a desperate obsession. I didn't want to argue with him anymore. I pushed him away forcefully. Alex, I already gave you chances, but you disappointed me time and time again. I hope by the time I get back, you'll have figured out what to do with the house. Next time you're back, where are you going? Abroad. You're going abroad? Alex's voice shot up, laced with disbelief and anger. Why are you going abroad? What for? Are you trying to run away from me? Alex stared at me as if my going abroad was some unforgivable crime. I'm going to study photography. It's always been my dream. It has nothing to do with you. With that, I quickly walked past him and headed for the door. Leo, you can't go. Leo, come back. I disappeared into the crowd, ignoring him, leaving him behind. The next day, without a second thought, I boarded a flight to another country. Once I was there, I threw myself completely into my photography studies. Everything was new and exciting. The rich curriculum, the diverse culture, and the like-minded friends from all over the world made my days full and satisfying. However, Alex was like a ghost I couldn't shake. After I got a new SIM card, he started frantically contacting everyone I knew. He even called Ryan. But Ryan, who was usually so mild-mannered, apparently gave him a piece of his mind over the phone. Even so, Alex didn't give up. He called my parents several times. Luckily, I had given them a heads up. Although they were worried, they respected my decision and just told Alex they didn't know where I was. Time flew, and my 6 months of study passed in a flash. During that time, I made significant progress in my photography and gradually emerged from the shadows of my past. I hadn't heard from Alex in a long time and thought he had finally given up. But I never expected that when I returned to my apartment one day, I would see a familiar yet strange figure at my door. It was Alex. He was unshaven and his hair was a mess. He had lost a lot of weight and looked completely haggard. The moment he saw me, his eyes instantly turned red. His lips trembled slightly, as if he wanted to say something but was too choked up to speak. The once dashing, hypercritical man now looked like he'd had all the life drained out of him. Seeing me, Alex immediately straightened up and walked quickly towards me. Leo, I finally found you. Leo, He suddenly pulled me into a hug, his voice hoarse, filled with exhaustion and hurt. Leo, come home with me. Alex, let go. Let go of me. No, if I let go, you'll leave. Alex held on to me stubbornly. I struggled, but it was no use. I gave up. Alex, do you really think saying come home with me can erase everything that happened? I love cats, you hate them. To please you, I never dared to get a cat. I could only get my fix at pet stores. But even then, you'd complain that I had cat hair on me, that I stank. Even though I showered the second I got home every single time, you were still disgusted with me. So why is it that when your friend Linda brought her cat into your passenger seat, you didn't say a single word of complaint? Alex's grip on my arm suddenly loosened. I seized the opportunity and pushed him away. You know what? This past half year abroad has been the happiest time of my life. Here, no matter how badly I screw up, no one calls me stupid. You're brilliant, I get it. A PhD from overseas, the backbone of the firm, a legal genius in the eyes of your clients. But what does any of that have to do with me? Not only did I not get any of the benefits, I had to walk on eggshells and cater to your every mood. I did all the work of a corporate slave and served as your emotional punching bag. I even got chewed out by you for needing a day off when my stomach was in knots. Alex, do you really think a relationship like ours can be salvaged? Alex looked at me, stammering, Leo, I'm sorry. I'll change, I promise. You'll change? But I don't care anymore. Now, whenever I think about the contempt, the eye rolls, and the way you ignored me, I just want to strangle you. So, stop harassing me and don't force me to get physical with you. I'm sorry. I know I was wrong. Leo, give me a chance. Can we please start over? I laughed coldly. We can't go back. Alex, just go. But Alex just stared at me stubbornly, his eyes red. I sighed. Alex, you're surrounded by young interns and subordinates who would kill to bring you coffee and get on your good side. I'm almost 30. I'm done being your free-for-all handyman. I can't waste any more of my life on you. I'm begging you, do me a favor and let me go. Okay? No. Leo, no. Alex covered his face with his hands, his voice choking and trembling as he shook his head, stubborn as a child. Tears streamed down my own face. It's been 8 years, Alex. We've been in love for almost 8 years. But we can't go on. Don't you understand? After saying that, I walked away without looking back. Later, standing at my apartment window, I saw Alex sitting on the ground, his head buried in his arms, his public image completely forgotten. I could see his shoulders shaking violently. I thought that after this, he would finally back off. But to my surprise, he soon launched an almost manic campaign to win me back. He started asking around to find out details about my life abroad, learning about my preferences and needs. When he found out I needed some special equipment for my photography studies, he used his connections and spared no expense to buy it from all over the world, then secretly had it sent to my place. He also started sending me regular emails. The tone was no longer demanding but filled with long, emotional letters of apology. In them, he reminisced about our past, picking up all the beautiful moments one by one, his words filled with regret and longing. He said he had started trying to raise a cat, just to understand my interests and feel what I once felt. Later, I returned to my home country and opened a photography studio. When Alex heard about it, he resigned from some of his duties at the firm and moved to a place not far from me. He started learning to cook, making all the dishes I used to love. Every time, he would pack the food, bring it carefully to my studio door, and then leave quietly, leaving only a note filled with caring words. On my birthday, I received a very special work from Alex. It was a photograph set against the backdrop of a place we had once visited together. The warmth and love in the picture brought tears to my eyes instantly. I later found out that Alex had spent countless days and nights traveling to different locations to shoot and meticulously create it. He hoped to use this to evoke my memories of our happy times together. But we could never go back. One drizzly afternoon, I was in my studio organizing recent photos when I heard a soft knock on the door. Thinking it was a client, I said come in without looking up. The door opened slowly, bringing in a waft of damp air. I instinctively looked up and saw Alex. He was holding a black umbrella, his hair and shoulders dotted with raindrops, and in his hand was an exquisite food container. Seeing me look at him, he flinched slightly, a flicker of nervousness and hope in his eyes. Then he forced a smile. I made your favorite red bean pastries. I thought you might like them." I looked at him, a mess of conflicting emotions, and for a moment, I didn't know how to respond. Once, a scene like this was all I ever wanted. But now, the past hurts made it impossible for me to easily accept his kindness. I was silent for a moment before speaking. "Alex, I told you we can't go back. Please don't do this anymore." The smile froze on Alex's face. His hand trembled slightly as he placed the container on a nearby table. "Leo, I know I was horribly wrong. For so long now, I've been reflecting on myself. I've been learning to understand your interests, to feel what you feel. I've really changed. Please just give me one more chance. Okay?" His voice was pleading, his eyes full of earnestness. I looked at him and felt a pang of pity, but my head told me I couldn't give in. "Alex, not all mistakes can be forgiven, and not all relationships can start over. In the past 8 years, I lost so much in this relationship. I'm tired, Alex. I'm just so tired." Alex looked like all the strength had been drained from him. He slowly sat down in a nearby chair and covered his face with his hands. After a long while, he finally looked up, his eyes filled with pain and despair. "Leo, I really can't live without you. Tell me what I have to do to get you back." I looked at him, my emotions a tangled mess. The love, the disappointment, the pain, it all swirled together. I said softly, "Alex, you don't need to change for me. Let me go and let yourself go too." He answered quickly, "But Leo, I really can't let you go." His voice echoed in the empty studio, filled with endless sorrow. I turned my head away, unable to look at him like that anymore, afraid I would soften. "Alex, please leave. And don't come back." Alex sat there for a long time without moving, as if making a final stand. After what felt like an eternity, he slowly stood up and gave me a deep look, a look full of reluctance, longing, and regret. Then he turned and walked out of the studio with heavy steps. I watched his departing figure, a sourness rising in my chest, and tears blurring my vision. We were so in love once, but now this is where we ended up. I knew from that moment on we were truly saying goodbye to the past for good. Alex's epilogue. In the days after Leo left, every single second was torture. My colleagues and friends all noticed something was wrong with me. But how could I tell them I had lost the most important person in my life? Since Leo left, I come home every day to the house that was once filled with laughter and warmth, but is now just cold and empty. My heart feels hollow. Oh right, I bought this house from Leo, paid him for his half. The house is mine now, but Leo has never come back. Staring at the empty rooms, I suddenly remembered. When Leo and I first got together, life was so simple and beautiful. In the morning, sunlight would stream through the window, and Leo would always cuddle up to me, muttering about just 5 more minutes of sleep. We would go to the farmer's market together. He would bounce around like a little kid, hopping from stall to stall, picking out his favorite ingredients. Back home, we would cook together. His cooking skills weren't great back then, but he would always insist on helping, making a complete mess of the kitchen. In the end, we would always be laughing while eating our less-than-perfect meals. Later, I brought him into my company. First, everything was fine. I was so excited about the idea of us working together, building our future. But slowly, the pressure of work made me more and more irritable. I started to nitpick everything he did, forgetting that he also needed encouragement and support. On countless late nights at the office, I ignored his exhausted figure, only blaming him for not doing well enough. One time, he made a mistake at work and a client complained. I didn't comfort him. Instead, I blew up at him in front of the whole office. Thinking about it now, I can only imagine how hurt he must have been. Another time, he prepared a special dinner for our anniversary, but I stood him up because of a last-minute work meeting. When I finally got home, I was met with a table of cold food. The look of disappointment in his eyes is still burned into my memory. Years after Leo and I broke up, it was just as he said, Many people tried to get close to me. Young interns at the firm were always finding excuses to chat me up. Some peers and clients showed an unusual amount of enthusiasm for me at various events. But it was like I had lost the ability to love. When I was with them, I just felt annoyed. Only when I thought of Leo did the emptiness in my heart recede. On New Year's Eve, watching the festive lights and bustling streets outside, I felt so incredibly lonely. I never really had a home. It was Leo's arrival that let me feel the warmth of a home. But now, where could I possibly find that again? On a whim, I don't know what came over me, but I got in my car and drove straight to his parents' house. Leo should be with his mom and dad now, right? Maybe, while they were all there, I could beg him one more time. But on the road, I suddenly remembered. For the first few years we were together, we always went to Leo's parents for the new year. Leo's parents were wonderful. They treated me like their own son. Every year, the four of us would sit together, talking and laughing. Those might have been the happiest moments of my life. But I don't know what happened. Later, I gradually stopped going to his parents' house. Back then, Leo would always complain, saying I hadn't come home with him in forever. And how did I reply? Oh, I said, work is so busy. Where would I find the time? Leo was furious at the time and fought with me. I tried to placate him. Isn't this all for our future? But now our future is gone. When I got to the street below Leo's parents' apartment, I waited for a long time, not daring to go up. I waited until nightfall, when I finally saw Leo and his parents leaving the building. But there was another person with them. I recognized him. His name was Logan. He was the brother of one of Leo's close female clients. When she introduced her brother to Leo, I had actually looked him up. At the time, I thought there was no way Leo would be interested in Logan, because Logan was just a garage owner with a bunch of muscle and a decent-looking face. He probably didn't have a romantic bone in his body. But now, I saw him and Leo holding hands, their fingers intertwined. Logan's eyes were fixed on the ground in front of Leo, worried he might slip on the snow and fall. They looked at each other, and their eyes were filled with a burning passion for one another. So, the person I loved had a new life and a new lover. And all I could do was stand in the ruins of my own memories, mourning a love and a time that were gone for good.